You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
Hi, I'm Mike, founder of DollarShaveClub.com. What is DollarShaveClub.com? Well, for $1 a month, we send high-quality razors right to your door. Yeah, $1. Are the blades any good? No. Our blades are f***ing great. Each razor has stainless steel blades, an aloe vera lubricating strip, and a pivot head. It's so gentle a toddler could use it. And do you like spending $20 a month on brand name razors? 19 go to Roger Federer. I'm good at tennis. And do you think your razor needs a vibrating handle, a flashlight, a back scratcher, and 10 blades? Your handsome-ass grandfather had 1 blade and polio. Looking good, pop-up! Stop paying for shave tech you don't need. And stop forgetting to buy your blades every month. Alejandro and I are going to ship them right to you. We're not just selling razors, we're also making new jobs. Alejandro, what were you doing last month?
Not working.
What are you doing now?
Working.
I'm no Vanderbilt, but this train makes hay. So stop forgetting to buy your blades every month and start deciding where you're going to stack all those dollar bills I'm saving you. We are DollarShaveClub.com, and the party is on.
I know karate, I know jiu-jitsu, I drive like a gangster when I'm coming to see you, see you, see you, see you.
Not to be a backseat driver, but can you say for sure you got the best monthly payment possible on your auto loan? Could it be that you might have gotten a better deal by shopping the loan at a few places and have a lower car payment? Next time, before you go car shopping, visit Communication Federal Credit Union first. Our auto loan experts will find you a perfect loan and get you the lowest monthly payment we can. Communication Federal, your auto loan experts. Restrictions apply. Federally insured by NCUA.
Today, this breakfast isn't just breakfast. It might be the first McDonald's breakfast you're having at McDonald's again. This lunch might be a weekly tradition you hadn't had in weeks. And this dinner might be the first one you bought for not just you in a while. Whatever this order is for you, McDonald's will be here to take it.
Get more of the chicken you love with a delicious McChicken sandwich for $1. And for an extra buck, add a refreshing Dr. Pepper. Dining rooms are starting to reopen in certain communities at participating McDonald's. Cannot be combined with any other offer or combo meal.
KLRN Radio has advertising rates available. We have rates to fit almost any budget. Contact us at advertising@klrnradio.com.
The following program contains coarse language and adult themes. Listener discretion is advised.
Who controls the British crown? Who keeps the metric system down? We do. We do. Who leaves Atlantis off the maps? Who keeps the Martians under wraps? We do. We do. Who holds back the electric car? Who makes Steve Gutenberg a star? We do. We do. Who robs Kingfish of their sight? Who rigged every Oscar night? We do. We do.
Do they really keep back the electric car? Do they really? Anyway,
Yes, they really do.
welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Juxtaposition. This is a special makeup episode. We have decided that we are leaving the previous topic for Juxtober in the dustbin of history. But we are making up episodes for you guys. Because, that was the weirdest month ever. Anyway, so we're here. We're live. And tonight we're going to be talking about Freemasons. I think Orty got the idea because his usual cohorts on Tuesday night are going to be are apparently Freemasons, and they're going to be rubbing elbows and stuff. And he's like, "Let's trash them first."
Right.
Trash the
Freemasons. Usually on Tuesday nights, either myself, Jeff, Vincent Charles, or all three of us sometimes, or variations of, are on Red Cross Steve's Manorama show over on Rumble. And he is a Mason. And he has other Masons, and they're doing a Mason show on Tuesday. So since we are not Masons, and I was not invited to partake, let's drag him.
So the funny thing is, I actually could be a Mason if I wanted to be, because I actually have Masons in my family. There's a bunch of different fraternal societies, right? So there's the Freemasons. There's the Shriners, which are kind of an offshoot that went in a different direction. So I have family.
Oddfellows.
I have family in both of the two major ones, which are Masons and Shriners. My great uncle through marriage, actually, and I didn't realize this until they said it at his funeral, was a Master Mason.
Yeah, and there's a lot of fraternal organizations, most of them very benevolent. Oddfellows, like I said, Masons, Shriners, so on and so forth. I'm actually part of a fraternal organization. I'm no longer active in them. When they were originally founded during the California Gold Rush, they were founded as kind of a mockery of the Masons, because at the time and in that era, the Masons and the Oddfellows, they were very kind of like, they were the upstanding members of the community, where the miners and the workers were kind of looked down upon. So they went and they started their own fraternal organization, and a lot of their rites and rituals and initiations were mockeries of the. I mean, of their own rites and rituals and initiations too. Then the organization was refounded in the early 1900s as a historical society, and but still maintaining some of the tongue-in-cheek attitude towards normal fraternal organizations, until recently where they kind of crawled up their own asshole, miners, M-I-N-E-R-S, yes, as in mining stone, not the
not Pizzagate miners, guys. Just
right, yeah, no. So, and back during the Gold Rush too, they were a benevolent society. Like if the members of this organization, if a miner were to be killed in the mine, then the other ones would anonymously pay off the mortgage of their house so their wife and children wouldn't have to become prostitutes or whatever. So, which was the style at the time. In keeping with the Simpsons reference. So, it's interesting when you're on the inside looking out, or on the outside looking in. Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot the Galaxy Club. Yes, it's interesting once you get on the inside of a fraternal organization, and I've said too much. They're going to kill me.
We're going to die before this episode is over.
Right.
Anyway.
So, yeah, it's almost all fraternal organizations now. One of the things that the problems they have is membership. The Utes aren't interested. So all of them have a membership problem. So I don't want to say they're getting more lax on membership, but they're more. It's like I always remember the bumper sticker. One of my neighbors was a Freemason. They always had the bumper sticker, "To be one, ask one." So it's not like there was some legacy tie-in or anything like that. It's, hey, you want to be a Mason? Just ask somebody. And,
there was a legacy tie-in once upon a time, but it's because of the fact that they're losing membership. But I'm sorry, because you brought this up, I have to ask the question. I'm sorry. Did you say Utes?
Yeah. 3 references in 5 minutes, including the ones from chat. That's great.
Anyway. As soon as you did that, I had my cousin Vinny in my head.
Right. As the gods intended. So, okay, so getting with it, we have to start with the conspiracy.
Well, hang on.
Go ahead.
Before we go any further, we do have an announcement we need to make real quick.
Yes, we absolutely do. And it was... Go ahead. I mean, you started. You're the boss.
Sure.
You're the BMOC.
So we have put together what will now be our third annual Christmas special. It is airing December 22nd, 2023 at 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. in the real time zone, and then 6 p.m. in the West. But it will be Miracle on 34th Street. And
yes.
It is yet again another Blowtorch production, so Pimp Hat included.
Pimp Hat included. Yeah. Yeah, so it's we're hoping to have a cast announcement soon. We finally solidified the cast. We've got a lot of our old players, most of them actually, a couple obviously for because it's the holiday and life gets in the way, and unfortunately a couple won't be able to join us this year. But we do have some new voices joining us too. I'm excited about that, and it's going to be so much fun. These are always so much fun, and it's like Mickey and I are hammering out the casting tomorrow, and Mickey has a definite eye for who belongs, who is going to fill that role perfectly based off of their attitude. And I'm starting to feel a little typecast because the first year I was Scrooge, and the second year I was Potter.
So
I feel like I'm going to be the asshole of the story this year.
I was going to say, you feel like Mickey's getting your asshole vibes. Is that what you're saying?
You're right. Either that, or he knows I can play one perfectly. Either way, well, I don't say perfectly, but
embrace the power of and.
Yes.
Guess
who are you?
You walked into that with I'm not even sorry.
I did. No, but I'm excited for it. Yeah, and December 22nd, 2023, at 6 in the West, 9 in wherever
9 in the East, and 8 in the real time zone.
Yeah, 9 in the places that aren't real. I'm looking forward. We'll be doing the full. Like I said, we're casting tomorrow, and hopefully getting the full cast list out this week, or at least get it into the players' hands, so that way they can start not rehearsing. Because the less we rehearse, the better we are. I think when we did War of the Worlds, I spent a total of like 15 minutes actually reading my role, and then the rest of the time I spent figuring out how I was going to ad-lib and fuck with people.
I mean, that's pretty much what I did in the one that I was in. I was like, okay, let me read my lines first, and let me figure out how I'm going to screw with them.
Yeah. So, good times.
Yeah, I still think Sam needs to be Susan and just randomly keep asking Santa Claus for a chainsaw.
Maybe. That's, you know what? Maybe. But she does need a chainsaw.
Oh yeah, we could like at the very end. She got her chainsaw. And I even have the sound effect already, so I can send it to me.
Like getting her. Yeah, keep it handy.
Since we're not doing the drunk Santa bit, though, I was gonna say she could have popped off at one point and been like, "Well, if you'd give me the chainsaw I asked for, you wouldn't have gotten arrested."
Right. So,
all right,
Freemasonry.
Back to the Freemasons.
Okay. So, all right. So, a lot of the conspiracies in doing, the research for tonight, I found out a lot of the conspiracies about Freemasons themselves. And, we're going to talk about that's not exactly the case. All center around one individual, and that is a 33-degree Mason, Albert Pike. And despite he doesn't have the most glorious personal history, but he wasn't the absolute shit that history is making him out to be. But regardless of all that, he was the in 1871, he published a book, The Morals and Dogma of the Ancient Accepted Scottish Rite of Freemasonry, and was doing a lot of correspondence with people around it. And in his correspondence, people misunderstood what he was actually saying. But yeah, in 1859, he was elected the Sovereign Grand Commander of the Scottish Rite Southern Jurisdiction, and he remained the Grand Commander for the rest of his life, devoting a large amount of his time to developing the rituals of the order. And this is the Mother Lodge, the Mother, whatever they call it. The Mother and the Mother Lodge. And so in some of his writings, one of them is actually kind of prophetic and pretty disturbing. In 1871, in a letter to an extremist leader called Giuseppe Mazzini, Albert Pike predicted the coming of 3 world wars, which would be necessary for the world to accept a unified world under Lucifer. Mazzini was a strong believer in a unified Italy and a European version of the United States, the EU, as we know it now. But in what was described in the prediction, Pike announced that the First World War, now remember, this is in 1871, the First World War would overthrow the monarchies and create a fortress of atheistic communism, meaning Europe would become that. And that kind of happened. I mean, not all of Europe, but it could have gone that way really easily. Then his prediction in the Second World War would pin fascism against Zionism, which absolutely did happen.
Pretty much spot on.
Pretty much spot on. And then his prediction of the Third World War would oppose Islam against the Zionists. And when these wars concluded, Lucifer would rise to rule the world. Now, in these predictions, it tied in that Islam would have to be completely rooted out. And that was a Masonic belief, because he also wrote, the Third World War must be fomented between the Christians and the Islamic world. The war must be conducted in such a way that Islam and Christianity mutually destroy each other, leaving the political Zionists in control. And so this is believed that the wiping out of Islam and Christianity, the way it was written, the way it was misunderstood, was that this was Masonic goal, that they wanted this. And this is where you get the tie-in of the Masonic Zionist conspiracy, which is, we'll go into that in a bit. They must destroy Islam, they must destroy Christianity, and they want to bring about the reign of Lucifer. It's not what he was prophesying. He was prophesying that's how you bring about the reign of Lucifer. That wasn't saying, hey, this is what we want. So that's where a lot of these common misconceptions come from about Freemasonry, but those prophecies are pretty fucking scary.
So couple key things that I took away from this, because we've had a completely different idea of what World War III would be, thanks to pop culture, movies, everything we grew up, nuclear war, your desk is a bomb shelter, blah blah blah. So with hearing that his idea from like hundreds of years ago was that at some point the Christians and the Muslims were going to be going at each other, and watching what we're going through right now is kind of freaking creepy. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, it's and again, tying in with this too is that, like I said, there is the Jewish Masonic conspiracy, where this comes from a Russian book called The Protocols of the Elders of Zion, which details this, an attempt for world domination. This was kind of this meshed with the sociopolitical views of Hitler, and he determined that Freemasonry was a Jewish-led fraternity gunning to rule the world. And that's kind of where a lot of his anti-Semitism and the Holocaust came from in that, too. So it's just... And that was why Freemasonry was... Freemasons were hunted, I don't want to say as vehemently, but fairly very vehemently in Nazi Germany as well.
Well, I still don't really understand the whole Jewish tie, but whatever.
I mean, that just goes with the substantiation of Pope Clement in the 1730s that Freemasons were Satanists.
Well, I mean, I can kind of see where they got that from, though. I mean, no, they didn't come out and specifically say that we are trying to bring out the rise of Satan, but when you have somebody publishing letters that talk about, these things will happen and then Satan will take power, I kind of see where they're coming from.
Yeah, but I mean, this was even hundreds of years before that. I mean, this was back, the like I said, Pope Clement, and before even America was born, was it was actually part of the ban of why Catholics. I mean, it wasn't solidified until the 1980s, but Catholics could not be Freemasons. It is a heinous sin that you will not receive communion or last rites if you are a Mason. So it's because in one of the tenets of Freemasonry is you just have to believe in a higher power. It doesn't matter which one.
Yeah.
You just have to believe in something higher than yourself. And that goes against thou shalt not worship any god before me. So even though there are Christians as Freemasons, a lot of them, without them being specifically Christian, they're a heretical society.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it goes on to say exactly what you were saying. It is a proponent defend themselves against such claims, explaining that this is precisely why one of the requirements specifies they believe in a single God while not naming which religion's God. So while the fraternity does say that this is a way to keep claims it's a way to keep the society open to people of all faiths, its detractors often use this as justification for their allegations of devil worship. Being entangled in Freemasonry. And I mean, if you're going to go hardline Christian stance, that's not far from the truth if you're going to be like hardline about it. I mean, we live in a cafeteria Christian age today, which is probably why there are so many Christian Freemasons, because they're like, well, you believe in something, that's good enough for me.
Right.
Apparently, one of the things they don't believe in is the moon landing, though.
Well, okay, we're going to get to that. The last that was the next thing. But along with the claims of Satanism, several fingers have pointed out that Freemasonry is an enemy of Christianity, and they use the example, the war that occurred in Portugal at the start of the 20th century, when the Freemasons took power, forming the first provisional government after the monarchy was established. Now, the first thing the provisional government, this is kind of like, provisional governments are awfully provisional for me. It's they tend to drop a whole bunch of stupid edicts, and that's where you get like the reign of terror. But one of the things they did was declare all religious organizations to be illegal and then expelled the Jesuits from the country. And but this was more of an ideological war of the top Freemasons and didn't have a lot to do with the rank and file. So but that's where they got the moniker too. So they're against Christianity, they're against Catholicism, not always the same thing. They're against Islam, but they've never really had any problems with the Zionists or the Jewish folks. So that's where people think that conspiracy comes from.
I mean, I can kind of see it.
Yeah. But now the moon landing, that's fun.
That one was interesting to me when I saw that one. I was like, so wait, what?
So this goes to the claim that C. Frederick Kleinig, who was the head of NASA during the Apollo space program, he was claimed to have been the sovereign grand commander of the Council of 33rd Degree of the ancient and accepted Scottish Rite Freemasonry, Southern Jurisdiction of the United States. And that's
a long ass title. Could we abbreviate
that? That is a long ass title. But you know what? That's kind of like yeah. But that means not only did he belong to the Freemasonry, but he was actually its leader. And he is claimed that he was rewarded for pulling off the fake moon landing alongside the first astronauts, who are also alleged to be Masons, and that it was a Masonic plot. The reason for it has not been adequately explained, but the fake moon landing was a Masonic plot.
Well, I mean, it hasn't been explained well here, but there are several offshoots that kind of explain why they may have had to fake the moon landing. One of them is still the claims that human beings can't pass through the Van Allen belt.
Okay.
Which we'll kind of get into in a little more detail when we do the Flat Earth show, because that's actually one of the reasons why, again, people are claiming, where we're going isn't actually space, and there's this whole thing going on, and we can't get through the Van Allen belt. And there's actually video of a dude from NASA, like, recently saying, we may have finally figured out how to get through the Van Allen belt. And everybody's like, wait a minute, didn't we do that, like, back in the 60s?
Right. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that one. In fact, if you missed the last episode, when we announced this one, we also announced we are revisiting the Flat Earth, Hollow Earth, because things have gotten spicy in that arena recently, as you were saying. So I'm looking forward to that.
So yeah, that one will probably be next week, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we'll get into that part of it in more detail. I just thought it was funny because since we're about to be talking about that in more detail next week, that it actually comes up as apparently one of the groups that may have helped fake it is the one we're talking about right now. That's just kind of funny. And,
and along with that, because that tracks with this one also, is that the Freemasons run Hollywood.
Well, that wouldn't surprise me.
Well, yeah, we all know it's Scientology now.
But I was going to say, I'm pretty sure Freemasonry evolved to Scientology, which is why they claim they don't exist anymore.
No, not even. But I think they're battling for the soul of Hollywood. Does
it have a soul? Does it really?
Was that?
Does it actually have a soul? Does it really?
Well, it's shriveled in pain, but yes, face is fake like Delaware. Correct, chat. But so the idea is, the theory behind it is that there are countless directors and actors who are also Masons and in on the propaganda machine. And the purpose is to make, the Freemason agenda more stomachable to the, stomachable, is that even a word?
Palatable, I think is what you were going
Thank
for.
you. Yes, thank you. To the, to the Masonic beliefs, and mostly in this type of propaganda is noticeable in sci-fi, where a global alien invasion takes place and only a militarized top-to-bottom organization of world leaders is able to defeat the invaders. And this puts the plant in everybody's head that government is a united world government is the only favorable and actual preferable system that we can. That repels space invaders.
The funny thing is, how often in those style of movies has that been the theme? Even in the original Independence Day, the entire world basically came together, and after that, they were like, and we were all united, and we weren't fighting each other anymore.
Yeah, yay, rah, rah, rah. No, and that's always the case. It's never like Red Dawn. It's always, when it comes to the alien. Actually, okay, the exception to that was Battle Los Angeles. My guilty pleasure, one of the worst sci-fi films ever. But
Battlefield Earth.
That was different. No, Battle Los Angeles is it's basically a Marine recruitment movie. Kind of like it was around that time, like them and Battleship came out at the same time. So it's like, hey, you know what? Everybody run out and go see your recruiter. Recruitment's slow. We need some Marines, so we're going to do an alien thing. And the Navy, which is just part of the Marines anyway, or vice versa, whatever.
That's vice versa. The Navy came first, sir.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I know, but still. Did they? Did they though?
That's why our favorite E2 pilot on the birthday of the Marines put out a meme that says "Happy Birthday, Marines" from Daddy.
Right. That's right. Hammy. So, okay, this theory, I kind of lean on. And it deals with my favorite topic.
Damn it, you couldn't find the mute button.
I couldn't get it quick enough. My favorite topic, well, I didn't want to leave it. Anyway. Income tax. The Masons are responsible for income tax. According to the sport,
I figured you were about to get to that one because I saw that. I like, he's definitely going to talk about that one.
Oh yeah. So they're behind the whole income tax thing. The theory is built on one convicted tax protester's claim during a stand-up with police officers, which linked income taxes with Zionist, Illuminati, and Freemason movement and a potpourri of conspiracy theories A newspaper investigated these claims and uncovered that the Brown family's more sensible views on the issue that they believe the IRS and the federal income tax are part of a deliberate plot perpetuated by Freemasons to control the American people and eventually the world. Yeah, that I can lean into that one. Yeah, they may not control the world entirely, but they definitely. I mean, it's if you believe the Freemasons are trying to control the world and they're trying to get the world all under one world government to fight off the space aliens or become space socialism, whatever you believe, you do need to fund that. And what better than the largest machine ever invented for prosperity? The American working folk. The American working population is the Roman legion of economics. The most terrifying consumer-based economy ever conceived.
I mean, honestly, they are both the Roman legion and the Roman slaves at the same time.
Right, that's true. Good analogy.
Because they're slaves to a time clock, and that's how they want it. I mean, that's one of the things in the last 3 years.
Got to air quote the thing.
Yeah, I have done so much research on how we actually should be doing things, and am starting to put some of it together. And I'm like, they whether you want to admit it or not, whether it's Freemasons, Illuminati, whoever, they only want the American public to be just smart enough to be good worker bees, and that's it. That's all they want. Because
unfortunately for them, progressivism took it too far because now they're not even smart enough to be worker bees. Now they just want to sit at home.
Well, I mean,
existing.
That's what I was about to go into. Is for the longest time it was get them to be good worker bees. Now they've gotten them to the point where they are so brainwashed and dependent on the government, and the government knows it now. I still, in my heart, I still believe that's about 70% of why they tried to do what they did with COVID was just to see how far they could push it. And when we all decided to stay home and we all flipped because, I mean, dude, the thing that still wigs me out about COVID, and this kind of still ties into what we're talking about right now, is all the weird reports for those first couple of weeks when they were like, oh, it's only going to be 2 weeks to slow the spread. Then you're hearing about places like Africa and China and everywhere else that are talking about people that died from COVID coming back from the dead and being all weird.
I mean, I remember that.
I heard 3 or 4 different news stories like that because that's when we were researching that stuff every morning. And I'm like, literally, most of us that were watching this and seeing those news stories were like, holy crap, The Walking Dead is now about to become a thing. And I, like I said, I think they figured out that with fear, they can push us just far enough where we'll give over control. And now that they figured that out, if you'll notice, whoever's pulling the strings is trying to do it again. Now that we're getting close to an election again, there's some new virus that everybody's afraid of again. They're talking they're talking about like white lung pneumonia in children or whatever the hell that is, and then something else going around in China again.
Well, that's the thing too, is that they did push it too far because you had the people who are like, okay, you know what? All right, pandemics are scary. And then you had the left going, no, run down, or, without getting political on here, no, run down to Chinatown. Don't be racist. Go get some food and take in a Broadway show and, mingle. And then the script totally flipped when they pushed it too far. And those good government simps, you're like, oh, no, we got to be masked forever. And, we're on variant 37 and blah, 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 blah. And the rest of the world went, fuck off. So I don't think they can do it again, at least not when this short. The American public's memory is short, but not that short.
Well, I mean, I don't think it'll work exactly the way it did before. I think the main reason they're ramping up this the way they are now is because it's going to be able to keep all the mechanisms in place that allowed all the weird shit that happened during the 2020 election when we're all wait. What do you mean you're done counting? It's like 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
What?
Pipe burst? What? Yeah. So, yeah, that was odd. And I will be an election inspector again this year. So, okay, moving back on topic. Hi, guys. Wait, do we want to go to commercial or we want to go to...
Yeah, we might as well take the break now because we're a little bit over, actually.
We're a little rambly, so let's get back focused and come back even stronger.
We weren't rambly. It's all still tying together. Don't be hateful,
okay.
sir.
I got rambly.
You
That yawn ruined
You got
it.
Yanni is what you got. It wasn't rambling.
I got yawning. Well, it's the eggnog.
I'm drinking scotch and I haven't yawned yet. You have no excuse. We'll be right back. Stay tuned.
Hi, I'm Mike, founder of DollarShaveClub.com. What is DollarShaveClub.com? Well, for $1 a month, we send high-quality razors right to your door. Yeah, $1. Are the blades any good? No. Our blades are f***ing great. Each razor has stainless steel blades, an aloe vera lubricating strip, and a pivot head. It's so gentle a toddler could use it. And do you like spending $20 a month on brand name razors? 19 go to Roger Federer. I'm good at tennis. And do you think your razor needs a vibrating handle, a flashlight, a back scratcher, and 10 blades? Your handsome-ass grandfather had 1 blade and polio. Looking good, Pop-Up! Stop paying for shave tech you don't need. And stop forgetting to buy your blades every month. Alejandro and I are going to ship them right to you. We're not just selling razors, we're also making new jobs. Alejandro, what were you doing last month?
Not working.
What are you doing now?
Working.
I'm no Vanderbilt, but this train makes hay. So stop forgetting to buy your blades every month and start deciding where you're going to stack all those dollar bills I'm saving you. We are DollarShaveClub.com, and the party is on.
I know karate, I know jiu-jitsu, and drive like a gangster when I'm coming to see you, see you.
You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
Not to be a backseat driver, but can you say for sure you got the best monthly payment possible on your auto loan? Could it be that you might have gotten a better deal by shopping the loan at a few places and have a lower car payment? Next time, before you go car shopping, visit Communication Federal Credit Union first. Our auto loan experts will find you a perfect loan and get you the lowest monthly payment we can. Communication Federal, your auto loan experts. Restrictions apply. Federally insured by NCUA.
Today, this breakfast isn't just breakfast. It might be the first McDonald's breakfast you're having at McDonald's again. This lunch might be a weekly tradition you hadn't had in weeks. And this dinner might be the first one you bought for not just you in a while. Whatever this order is for you, McDonald's will be here to take it.
Get more of the chicken you love with a delicious McChicken sandwich for $1. And for an extra buck, add a refreshing Dr. Pepper. Dining rooms are starting to reopen in certain communities at participating McDonald's. Cannot be combined with any other offer or combo meal.
KLRN Radio has advertising rates available. We have rates to fit almost any budget. Contact us at advertising@klrnradio.com.
Who controls the British crown? Who keeps the metric system down? We do. We do. Who leaves Atlantis off the maps? Who keeps the Martians under wraps? We do. We do. Who holds back the electric car? Who makes Steve Gutenberg a star? We do.
Were they trying to do the whole Freemason Jewish tie-in with Gutenberg? 'Cause he's got the nose, I'm just saying. Alright, anyway, we are back. We are live. Juxtaposition night right here live on KLRN Radio. Hope everybody's having a great Saturday night. Thank you so much for joining us for the late night shenanigans here. So we've got more conspiracy theories with the Freemasons, and this one actually kind of astounded me. So apparently there is a conspiracy theory that Jack the Ripper the Jack the Ripper killings were the work of the Freemasonry.
Yeah, that's you know what? We're gonna have to revisit Jack the Ripper sometime too, and come back to throw this one in the mix.
Yes. So this Masonic conspiracy is definitely one of the most interesting theories on this list. It's built upon the testimony of Joseph Sickert, son of painter Walter Sickert, who was allegedly involved in this plot, along with a few important figures in British society, including the Queen's personal doctor, Sir William Gull, and the police commissioner, Sir Charles Warren. According to Sickert, Queen Victoria's grandson and heir Prince Eddie, Duke of Clarence, had married and fathered a child with an Irish Catholic commoner. As the royal family could not afford to have a Catholic bastard in the line for the throne, the Freemasons were tasked with eliminating all witnesses. Sickert's father accompanied Prince Eddie on his outings and pretended to be his brother. The fact he wasn't killed means not all witnesses were eliminated, so perhaps he is in fact Jack the Ripper.
Yeah, that's so British. We can't have an Irish bastard in the line. But that just starts the bloody path of Freemasonry too, because first let's go with, Mozart, one of the finest musicians the world has ever had. And it isn't well known that he was an initiated apprentice of Vienna's Masonic Lodge. And he was an active member of the fraternity until his death. One of his more famous operas, The Magic Flute, Mozart incorporated many of the various symbols of Freemason ceremonies in it, and it was common throughout his work as he penned in other Masonic odes. The theory is that in the circumstances of his death, although unsubstantiated by physical evidence, the lack of symptoms that led to his death are kind of shady, and it is theorized that Mozart was assassinated for revealing too much of the organization's secretive proceedings. Along those lines, we have another murderer a couple hundred years later. This was William Morgan. He was a regular visitor to some of the Masonic lodges in the state of New York, and pretending to be a Mason. He wasn't actually a Mason. And he was eventually blackballed by the society, which is being the same as expelled, when he just kind of he just couldn't back up his bullshit any further. And feeling censored, Morgan threatened to the Freemason to expose its secrets of their textbooks and their rites and rituals. Now, he was originally arrested. You know how it breaks down. He was arrested for some petty shit. It was petty theft because he borrowed a shirt and a tie from a local tavern owner and never returned them. So when he went to return those items, they dropped the charges on that, and then trumped up some other charges where he owed a debt of something like $2 and change. I mean, this is back again in the 1800s, so that was a lot of money then. His bail was posted by a bunch of local Freemasons, and he was never seen again. The Freemasons who were charged with his disappearance received, even for the time, extraordinarily light sentences in the span of a couple months, to one of them faced 2 years, and he was supposedly the ringleader for it. But yeah, Captain Henry Morgan, never seen again.
Captain Morgan. Woohoo!
Yeah, not that one, though.
Yeah, I know. How do we know for sure? Just kidding.
Right. The one I found really interesting, though, is the conspiracy of the Italian Masonic Lodge. And that is the P2 Masonic Lodge was uncovered in a police raid in the home of Lucio Gelli, part of the scandal involving the Vatican-owned Banco Ambrosia. And that was one of the banks of Italy. And where the friend of Robert Calvi, known as the God's Banker, and the P2 Brethren, was found hanged from the London Bridge. Police discovered a list of over 900 members of the P2 Lodge, including several high-ranking government officials and members of the Italian Parliament. Some of the most notable entries included future Italian President Silvio Berlusconi and mafia banker Michele Sidonia. The lodge was linked to Operation Giotto, where Gell cooperated with the British and American agencies to organize a series of terrorist attacks in Italy designed to stop the rise of communism in the country.
That's not weird at all.
That's fun. I like that one. That's because that's all cloak and that's Cold War cloak and dagger shit. You know, I love that stuff.
Yeah. Well, so number 1 on the list is actually the entire premise for the two Nicolas Cage movies about the conspiracies in Washington that I can't think of the names of right now.
National Treasure.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's the Washington Freemason conspiracy. This conspiracy revolves around the theory which states the United States was founded by Freemasons who have gone through an extensive hassle to include Masonic symbols into several sectors of American society, namely in national seals, streets, in the country's capital, Washington, D.C., as well as in the architecture of several landmarks throughout the country and the famous dollar bill. In fact, no less than 14 presidents, along with 18 vice presidents, and roughly 40 Supreme Court justices have been known reputable and active Freemasons. This extends to the country's founding fathers as well as 13 signatories of the Constitution and 9 of the Declaration of Independence. Surely they can't all be power-hungry Satanists, right?
Surely they can. No, and this goes to, so this goes to, when I was talking about, during the first half hour, when I was talking about Albert Pike. Now, one of the things is that to be charitable, not everybody involved with the Confederacy was a rampant asshole. A lot of people did it for, patriotism for their state and so on and so forth. Now, Pike was kind of an asshole, but, it's given the membership of many fraternities, like I said, it's the fraternity I belonged to, allegedly Ulysses S. Grant was a member of. So it's kind of you can't help the people who rise through your ranks, but it doesn't, it doesn't help dispel the rumors.
Well, if anything, it makes them worse.
Yeah, definitely. It's like, oh, look, all these, Freemasons throughout history, they're totally not power. And, like the P2 lodge that I just mentioned a few moments ago, were 900 members. A lot of them were in Parliament and future leaders and mafia. So, it's kind of like, how do you square that circle? I mean, well, of course it's easy to figure out, but it's kind of like, okay, so you got the cops and the robbers all at the same lodge.
Does that seem a little shady to anybody else? But I mean, going from the Italian lodge to what happened in America, the same thing was happening here. I mean, we're talking about George Washington was a master Mason. Jesse Jackson was a member of the Masons. Buzz Aldrin was a member of the Masons. The scariest thing is all of these people's names that keep coming up are in prominent positions of either being really well known or having access to or a lot of power. And it really starts to make you think, why do all these names keep coming up and why are they all the ones in positions of prominence?
Yeah, but like I said, I mean, that just, law of averages. You got 500 people in your organization. Chances are, a good portion of them, or, a not insignificant portion are going to become persons of power. And so that kind of like, it's, they got a whole bunch of drunks and tweakers in their ranks too, So, but yeah, no, it's weird how this organization keeps coming up. But here's my favorite thing, and this is where we start to become very charitable to the Masons. A lot of people conflate the Illuminati with Freemasonry.
Well,
they think they're the same thing.
Well, the reason they think they're the same thing is because one of the conspiracy theories we hadn't really talked about is the fact that the Illuminati and the Freemasons are intertwined.
Yeah, and this one actually I kind of appreciate because the predominant theory is that Freemasons are infiltrating everything, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Anyway, that was the whole first hour. We talked about everything, infiltrating and usurping religions and governments and everything else. But, and this is the theory I like, the Masons have actually been infiltrated by the Illuminati.
Yeah, I could see that, and vice versa.
See, now that actually tracks more, because you could do that. I mean, again, getting back to the Scientology analogy, who better than Scientology to be infiltrated by the Illuminati in order to, one, make the presidential puppets that we talked about with MK Ultra, because that's totally, that's their thing.
Yeah.
And then also to influence actors and, what's the word I'm looking for? Influential voices to manipulate public perception. So in doing that with the Masons too, because the Masons, you have this, okay, here's this respectable, quasi-respectable organization who's just, they've got grandiose monuments and, they're this benevolent secret society who, they want the benefit of man, and it's all you have to do is believe in a higher being, and here's these noble goals of this organization. Who better than to infiltrate that and usurp their? Of all the Masonic conspiracy theories, this one makes more sense to me than most of the others.
Well, so here's
except for that moon.
Well, yeah. So here's the thing about this, though, right? It's not even just that the Illuminati have infiltrated the Freemasons. At this point, there is a theory that the Illuminati has actually are now the highest ranking echelons of the Freemasons. So they're pulling all the strings.
Well, and that's how it works. I mean, that's how it's kind of like again, without getting into politics, that's like the plot to kidnap Governor Whitmer, where it comes out the people who were actually leading that whole fucking thing were the feds. So they got infiltrated by so many different federal agencies that nobody knew what the other ones were doing. So, but you see that all the time. So, but yeah, that.
Well, that's like the cop that was sent to jail for the whole George Floyd thing. I think it was him. It was just stabbed like 22 times, and it turns out the dude that stabbed him was a federal informant.
Right. Again, always an IC. But okay, but thinking about that too, how we mentioned earlier about how Freemasonry infiltrating Hollywood in order to make the whole you need to have a top-down, powerful government of the united of the world to help fight off the alien invasion.
Yeah.
Okay, isn't it in every alien invasion movie where, especially like in Body Snatchers and shits like that, where they infiltrate and take over the top levels of the government?
Mm-hmm.
So that totally tracks with the infiltration of the Illuminati into Freemasonry.
Well, yeah, I mean, so basically...
And New World Orders, too.
Well, yeah, so...
There's a thing we haven't talked about since the 90s.
Well, so that's the whole thing, though, right? This is basically an offshoot of the whole New World Order. We're going to take everything over and have a top-down world government, and everybody's going to be happy, and you're going to own nothing, and blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. And that's actually...
You'll live in a cube, you'll eat the bugs.
Yeah, I mean, and, like it or not, those things are starting to be talked about, whether we want to admit it or not.
Al talks about it on his show all the time with UN Agenda 20... Was it 2030 now?
Yeah, it's 2030.
Yeah. See, and that's the other thing. The UN, I mean, they keep pushing these, because it's always the communist nations that have the 5-year plans.
Yep.
So the UN is modeling that.
That's not shady at all.
Yeah. Yeah, you see, that's where the song was wrong, Jeff, because it's not keeping the Martians under wraps, it's keeping the Alpha Centaurians under wraps.
Well, except for that Jeff Gay.
Yeah. No, he's pretty vocal about it. He's out there. So okay, this is where we got to let take the tongue out of the cheek on this one. Being in a fraternity myself, and knowing Oddfellows, knowing Masons, they're not that organized.
No,
so
really not.
So I mean, it's that's why I go with the Illuminati. If the Freemasons are responsible for anything, it's because the Illuminati has infiltrated them. I know good Masons. I don't know 33 degrees, but it's kind of like, okay. So my analogy would be like the Southern Strategy. Why it's taking so long? You guys have been in control for 300 years.
Yeah.
So that's why. Okay, so you've had these Masons. You've going all the way back to the founding of America, and even before when the Bavarian lodges and everything else too. What's taking so long to take over the world? I'm sorry.
Well, it's because they haven't gotten the secret handshake right yet.
You got to tickle that palm with the middle finger. That's how you really know. But yeah, a lot of stuff that's attributed to Freemasonry just isn't. It's like the Egyptian obelisk in Peter's Square carrying Masonic symbolism. Come on, that's been there since Caligula. Okay, if you take it all the way back, you have Hiram Abiff as one of the architects of many Egyptian monuments, and he was believed to be the first Mason, the first Freemason. Even were that true, you're talking about a 2,000-year lineage, 4,000-year lineage of the organization that has to keep being reborn. There's no clear chain of custody going through then to now. So that's where I just it falls apart for me. Again, you've had 300 years under the modern Scottish Rite. Why haven't you taken control yet?
Dude, so here's the thing, right? I get, this stuff started, long-ass time ago when nobody really talked about women. They were barely mentioned in literature. They were barely talked about in scriptures, etc., no matter which religion you were looking at. But even in today's modern Freemason society, one of their primary requirements, you have to be male.
Well, and that's that's the whole point of a fraternity. That's the definition of the word fraternity.
Well, no, and I get that, but what I was getting at, though, is it's really just become a place where guys can go to get the hell away from their wives.
That's, the fraternity out, that's, we do have events where we bring the wives involved, but it was, wives and girlfriends in, but it was, and the kids, but it generally... Yes.
I mean, hell, the Flintstones gave the secrets away. How many times did Fred and Barney throw on their lodge hat and run away from the women?
Right.
Come on, dude.
Yeah. No, and that's true. And that's, it's, I mean, even with ones that do cohabitate, the ones that, like the Elks, they still have, they do their parties, so they do their events separately. They do their, all their fun, everything. Yeah, they have that one lodge, but still it's, you've got the Elks and the Lady Elks. And they do their own things separately. So, that's most private clubs and organizations are like that.
Well, I'm not necessarily even saying that they shouldn't be. I'm just saying.
No, they absolutely should.
I'm just saying at this day and age, it's really just become a thing where, a bunch of guys get together and they have their secret handshakes and all their different rules and all these different things. And they have, a couple nights a week where they get to get away from the wife.
Sure. And that's, definitely. And, it kind of goes back to what we talked about at the top of the show. The main thing that's plaguing fraternities now is that it's hard to get membership. It's the modern generation, the newer generations are just not into it. They don't have that camaraderie. They don't have I don't even say gender-specific roles, but it kind of does. Is that, you can't get guys who are beat up their entire life, and that's why we do shows like Manorama and Toxic Masculinity and the others. Guys who are beat up their entire lives for being men, they're not going to run out and join a fraternity. Which speaks against the Masons trying to take over the world, because if that was the case, why would they foster a culture that prevents people from wanting to join a fraternity?
I don't know.
I just found the flaw in all the conspiracy theories, because they have driven their own recruitment down.
You're just trying to make sure we don't die tonight. I know what you're doing.
That too. No, I talk shit about Scientology. Though I notice we haven't actually done a show on Scientology.
We probably should.
Should we?
Actually, I may have an in to. It may take some doing, but I might actually be able to get Leah Remini to come on to do that when I have a contact.
That'd be awesome.
There.
Awesome. We wouldn't exist long after it, but that would be awesome.
We wouldn't need to exist long after, because that would get enough ad revenue that I could retire for the 5 minutes I was alive.
Right. So, anyway, what do you think, Rick?
I I mean, I have more faith in the Illuminati doing the shady stuff than the Masons, but I do think the Illuminati have, because while the Masons are not, I mean, every fraternal group isn't well organized. I know, I used to be a member of one, the FOP, so it's in the name.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, but I do think that because it is a worldwide structure and it's pretty much everywhere and it's become more and more accepted, I can see a group like the Illuminati, if they exist, because I'm, trying to make sure I don't die tonight.
Right.
Basically taking over the higher-ups of it and using it.
Right.
And the other thing is, to your question of why would they start fostering basically a society that would stop lending to membership because they've already gotten what they wanted from it and they don't need the lower members anymore. I mean, and I say this as them basically, if this is true, they're saying the quiet part out loud in commercials right now. There's this new, the whole Fandango sites or what, not Fandango, but the freaking sites where you can, like Travelocity, whatever. It's not that one. I can't think of the name of it. But there's a group of guys, and they're not even guys. They look like freaking aliens or fish, sitting around a table in the middle of a golf course talking about, well, brothers, now that we have made traveling impossible, we have this place to ourselves. And all of a sudden this dude walks up that looks normal, and they're like, how the fuck did you get here?
Right.
So, I mean, they're literally, and to me, it just kind of seems like they're saying the quiet part out loud as a joke. So nobody realizes it. Kind of like, the realization that I had that is a hill that I will die on. That in the 70s and 80s, when all the after school specials started about all the bad things happening, I think that was the producers and the writers trying to get everybody's attention, and the higher up said, "Oh, we'll just label it as an after school special."
Yes. God, I just had a point of what we were talking about a couple weeks ago too, and it just vanished. You threw me off with the after school special. Oh, when we were talking about you're talking about the travel commercial. It's kind of like how DIA leans into it. Denver International Airport, how they lean into the Lizard Man conspiracy. The guy in the suit and the tie with the lizard head. Pardon our dust. We're doing. We're expanding restaurants and business suites and sun rocks for our lizard people and things like that. But a good point in chat too. Masons build, they don't destroy. So again, infiltration by the Illuminati. If they are trying to take over the world, it's due to infiltration by the Illuminati.
Probably.
I'm going with that one. Because again, you already have your forces in place, and when you're at the top, you just start moving the pieces around, just like in every good sci-fi film with the body snatchers.
Pretty much. It's funny though, because I've been noticing something. Like, everybody's getting so mad that they're we see nothing really but recycled films anymore. And honestly, for the longest time, that's been the case. I mean, hell, how many times have they remade Invasion of the Body Snatchers?
Right.
I mean, so it's not like it's a new thing, because everybody's mad because now they're talking about bringing back Die Hard with somebody else playing John McClane. And they're like, why? Can we just make something new? And I'm like, well, they haven't really made anything new in a long time. I mean, hell, even some of the stuff that I thought was new growing up, I found the original shit later. And I'm like, wait a minute, this was a remake? I didn't even know that. So there haven't really been a lot of fresh ideas in Hollywood in a long time. I blame the Illuminati. Yeah. Just saying.
Yeah, well, I'm trying to remember the name of the movie. I'm actually looking up Faye Dunaway on IMDb, so that way I'll remember the name of the movie. Because I have a point to make, but you're not going to understand unless I say the film. Give me just a moment here. Sorry, guys. I wasn't ready to make this point, and I didn't realize Faye Dunaway was still acting into the 2000s. Hang on, I got to get back to... Okay, Network. You notice how they remake the movies that are... Again, getting back to comply, control. And you can't really say that about Die Hard, but on the other hand, it's just like, oh, it's a fun, raw action film, but it doesn't have any deep meaning. It's like, and when they remade Red Dawn, they didn't do it. I mean, not only did they just fuck it up with the North Koreans when it should have been the Chinese, but they also fucked it up in that it didn't have the jingoism, the patriotism, the survival, the rugged individuality of the American.
Well, it's because they don't want those things.
Exactly, and that's what I'm talking about. It's like they won't remake movies like Network with Faye Dunaway, which that had the rant of, we just want to be left alone, and why won't you leave us alone? We just want to sit home for our 10 minutes and watch our TVs, and I want you to shout out the window. I'm mad as hell, and I'm not going to take it anymore. You don't see that movie getting remade.
Well, no, it's because it has a message that could resonate with people and wake them up.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, honestly, and I said this the other day, when I got really sick for that, 3 days that I guess because I had been doing, I'd been doing full-on, the intermittent fasting for 3 weeks, and my doctor warned me that at some point I was just going to crash and feel like crap for 3 days because my body would start pushing all kinds of toxins and shit out. She didn't lie. Because I was down for 3 days. But even after I started feeling better, because I had been sitting around and doing nothing but really watching TV for 3 days, I wasn't motivated again for 3-4 days. I eventually just had to make myself turn off the TV and picked up a book. And that was enough to start clearing the cobwebs out. I really am starting to think that they are starting to do weird shit with television.
They're going back to subliminal messaging.
Like
in They Live.
Yeah, I think it's a thing. I think it's a thing because anytime I catch myself with the TV on for too long, I lose all motivation to do anything. I just want to sit there and keep watching and keep watching and keep watching.
I'm amazed at how quickly, after I took the new job, when I got driving again, how quickly and effortlessly it was to turn off the television. Yeah, it's like, okay, the joke from Repo Man, driving makes you less intelligent. I've found the opposite of that is true because all I have to do all day is think. I obviously not space out to the point it's like, well, where'd that last 50 miles go? But it's, not only am I in better shape than I've ever been, I feel good. I'm generally positive. And the most TV I consume is I might get half an episode of some sci-fi show that I've watched 100 times before I just completely sack out. I've gotten pretty good at just distinguishing I'll read sites, even sites that I generally agree with, but I'll get halfway through a story, I go, this is absolute bullshit, and just bounce out of it. It's like my patience and my threshold for bullshit and control and manufactured outrage has just completely disappeared the less TV I watch.
I'm telling you, there's a tie-in there.
Yeah, we got to talk about subliminal messages. We've never done that episode either.
Yeah. So I guess now we have the next two shows mapped out again.
So we will be back again next week, back on our regular schedule. Yes.
Yeah. That's the plan. And then we actually have one more makeup we need to get in. So I guess we could do subliminal messaging the following week since we've already planned it out.
No, we've already talked about overloading during the holidays.
Oh, that's right. Because, that will be getting kind of close to that time. So,
well, not just that, because that'll also be, we're going to need to start getting ready for the holiday play.
Yep.
The holiday production. So we'll do next week to get back on schedule, and then we'll go into the 2 week.
Well, the reason I was thinking if we did the 9th and the 16th, we could actually take the 23rd off.
Okay, you're right. Okay, that's fine. Yes, let's do that then. Holy shit, that didn't even occur to me.
Yeah, I mean, it won't get us back on regular schedule for right now, but at least we'll be able to take the 23rd off because I have plans that Saturday anyway.
Okay. So, yeah, let's do that. So the next episode we will be revisiting Hollow Earth and Flat Earth because, like I said, there's new spicy stuff coming out in that space. And then we're going to do subliminal advertising, getting you all to watch the KLRN or listen to the KLRN players doing Miracle on 34th Street this year.
We should really have
on the 22nd.
We should really have Jeff record a spoof subliminal message about that. Just saying.
Yeah. Yes, that would be. Yeah, you know what that? Okay, yes. I love that idea.
We could run.
Yeah, you're right. If subliminal advertising actually worked, Jeff would be the current ex of the former ex prime minister of the country that doesn't exist.
Of East Norwegia.
Yeah. East Norwegia. Okay, well, awesome. That was the Mason Show. Now, again, reminder, we did this kind of tongue-in-cheek. Tuesday night, the show that myself, Jeff, Vincent Charles often appear on, Manorama is actually doing Masonorama. And on Tuesday night, 7 p.m. in the East, 10 p.m. or 7 p.m. in the East, 10 p.m. in the East, 7 p.m. in the West, and wherever else you are, you do the math. It should be a fun show. It's going to be a full Mason panel that night, and maybe many people you didn't know were Masons in that group.
I'm too much of a smartass. I would be opening that show with the Perry Mason theme.
That's awesome. So, but yeah. So anyway, that was what led us to do the show tonight. Masons, yeah, you guys got a shady past, but you know what? On the whole, you're all right. Where can people find you this week, Rick?
So off tomorrow as far as radio, off Monday as far as radio. But I do plan on starting to get back in the groove with Twitchy again. I hadn't written very much at all for November because it was just nuts.
I've noticed.
Really? You're gonna just drag me right on the air. I see how it is. And then so Monday I do plan on starting up with the morning show again. So planning on having that running again 7 to 9 Eastern. The reason I'm going to try to get it started this coming week is because I may actually take a couple days off around the Christmas stuff because we got a lot of stuff to do there.
No, really? Busy at Christmas? Oh, no way.
Well, no, not just that, but a lot of things to get ready for the actual Christmas production itself. Because
yeah,
we actually have a TV producer that's going to be helping this year. I'm kind of nervous about that. I'm not going to lie.
He's just acting. He's not interested in anything else.
I know, but it's still one of those things where somebody that professionally does this kind of stuff, like professionally, is going to be in our crew.
That's a testimony to the work we do, though, because somebody who does it professionally wants to work with us.
But it still makes me nervous, not gonna lie.
Well, get over it.
Whatever.
David's just this guy,
I know, I get it. We followed each other for a while. I just when you dropped his name, I was like, wait, I know that guy. And I looked over, I was like, crap, that's the TV producer. He wants to come do one of our shows.
Exactly. So. Anyway, what else you got?
And then, of course, the Loftus Party podcast will drop sometime, probably either Tuesday or Wednesday, because I still do that one, and also contribute at the Loftus Party. And then we've got the regular lineup this week. So Tuesday night, be producing for the Cocktail Lounge. Wednesday night, Full Boat, starting with whatever. And then hopefully going into, well, one way or the other, we'll be going into the Conservative Quincy Radio Show, because it's been about a month since we put up one for him. So even if he can't do it, I'll be filling his seat for the night to keep his stuff active. Then the Ladies of the Red Wine, and then you and I, and then Thursday night, coming back doing America Off the Rails. Then rolling into, I believe this week is, so next week, so you guys did, no, that's right, because I stepped on you guys this week, so next week will be the Masters. And then coming back and doing Jen and Rick, and then Friday background doing work with Aggie, doing He Said, She Said, because, it's not like I have, it's not like I don't have enough work to do. Anyway, where can folks find you?
Well, first of all, you can find me as Ordnance Packard on Twitter. Usually up to some shenanigans there. This week, as I mentioned, there is no Manorama. It's Masonorama, so I'll be having the night off. Wednesday with you on Rick and Orty. No Culture Shift this week. And then Saturday with you on Juxtaposition.
Woohoo!
Yeah, light week. Fuck.
Not gonna know what to do with yourself.
Not really. I mean, shit. only 2 podcasts this week, and I fucking feel unemployed.
Get back on the corner, sir. Still gotta money.
40 is real.
Night, everybody. Thanks for hanging out.
Hail Hydra.
There will be no hailing of the Hydra in this establishment, sir.